Hey Chatverse Studio, we are back with another video. I am Jennifer and I have a guest with me today.
I'm Julia.
And Julia does Stub Club Entertainment with me, so you might watch some of that stuff and see her on there too. So also, we are sisters. So we are coming back from a vacation. So what we're going to talk about today is funny stories or stories in general when we were on vacation, when we were little, on family vacations. So let's go. So to start off talking about family vacations, we always drove everywhere. There was only one time that we flew, and that was to Florida in 2002. So everything...
We didn't fly to Florida in 2002.
Oh wait, what am I talking about? Yeah. We drove...
I didn't live this life that you're talking about.
Sorry, we flew... I'm thinking that we flew never. We never flew anywhere. We always drove when we were little. So we drove everywhere. So when you're driving with kids, how do you keep yourself occupied in the car? So there's a couple of things we did to occupy ourselves. The one thing is that my dad took a regular CD player that it was able to plug in the wall. Well, in our van, we didn't have an outlet. So he actually somehow converted it so with wiring and stuff that he was able to plug the CD player into, what was it, like the cigarette, like there was like that power port in your car. He converted it so you were able to plug it in there. So we were able to get CDs and cassette tapes on books, and we would be doing that while going in the car. I don't really know specifically. I feel like with Florida, I feel like we got out the Harry Potter book and my mom started reading out loud and we were listening to cassette tape, but that didn't really go very far.
This was in 2002 when we went to Orlando, Florida. We were driving, and I mean, I don't know off the top of my head how many hours the drive is, but we stopped a lot, so we'd stay in hotels different nights, so we didn't drive straight through. But I know I would get my Jeannie B. Jones tapes from the library, and I don't think I didn't bring the book, I just listened to them. So I was obsessed with Jeannie B. Jones as a kid. I got all the books. And then I know we like colored and brought crayons in there, but then we left the crayons in the car, and then when we drove all the way back, they all melted in the like cup holders or
what
something. What
happened was me and you had a mini crayon fight, and a piece of a crayon got thrown somewhere. And so when this piece of the crayon flew somewhere, it went to the back of the car onto like the door hitch of our van, and on the plastic part of it, it melted. It was an orange crayon, and then the orange crayon melted somewhere on one of the seats, I want to say. We also did the license plate game, so we did that.
We made a whole like board game sheet for it, kind of like bingo thing, but the sheet had different, like we went on Google, Microsoft Word, we made a whole grid sheet of different states, and then whenever we would drive, if we saw one, we'd mark off a space
with like a little ripped piece of paper.
Oh yeah, and then if the car jolted or we went over a bump, oh shit, they went everywhere. What state did we have this and that?
So I remember actually making those on the computer. I might even still have the box of it somewhere, God knows. But yeah, we did that, but then we were also doing not only the license plate game, but I made up a board game for looking for specific hotels and restaurants, I want to say. Because when you're on the highway, you have those big, huge, tall signs. So I want to say I was listing specific gas stations, restaurants, hotels, like looking for a, Motel 8 or like a Red Roof back then. What are some of the hotels? Like Marriott.
Yeah.
There was something with the sun, I remember that. So yeah, it was like that type of stuff to keep us occupied. Do you want to say about what would happen with the back seat?
We had a Dodge Caravan whenever we took vacations to drive somewhere, and I would always want to claim the back seat. So when we would start packing, like hours before, I would put all my stuff back there because I'm like, I'm sitting back here because I could lay down. It was great. And then I would take, I know I had this blanket, and I would like hang it because like the van had these windows that you like kind of turn the latch and then you push it out. And then there's like, it only opens so far. It's not like a window that goes like down like this. Mm-hmm. And I would like hang my blanket while the window was closed. It would be like my little curtain.
Yeah, you would lodge it in between the clamp of the window, and then it'd also be like strung across where the seatbelts were. But it wasn't high enough to distract, like so my dad could see out the back windshield. No. And then it might have been pushed in between when the car had like this thing, so it was like that too. Because we would always fight because the back seat was the one that had the middle seat belt. I want to say that's why. The middle seat only could sit 2 people, and it was just these seat belts that went over. The seat in the back, there was the middle seat belt, so you can stretch that out so you could lay down, and then you were able to do that. Okay, so what's a funny story or something that from when we were on vacation, or a memory you had or something?
Okay, let's talk about how Ponderosa was the shit. So, and actually a pun is intended there. So when we were in Kissimmee, Florida. We went to Ponderosa, and you know, mind you, we were on our Disney World vacation in 2002, and we went there to eat, and it was awesome. I loved it because it was a whole buffet, and like, ooh, you get to, you know, as a kid, it's exciting. You can pick out,
get the macaroni and cheese, fried chicken. You get
a whole variety, and then you can get the ice cream. I think it had an ice cream maker machine at the end. You could do your dessert. It was awesome. And then the cool thing was there was a gift shop attached to it, and it had all of these Florida keychains, T-shirts. They had like Disney themed stuff too. Since
a bunch of dolphin
Orlando
stuff.
Yeah, and like palm trees. You could buy a mini palm tree to take home. It was just awesome. But the bathroom of Ponderosa, when eating these buffet combinations, the bathrooms were always like, people bombed them. They were nasty and didn't clean it. So that's why I say Ponderosa was the shit in 2 ways, because it was the shit, meaning it was awesome with all the food they had there and the attached gift shop. But the bathrooms were ick.
They were, and sometimes it was like so nasty. So then like sometimes when you'd find a Ponderosa that had a good bathroom, you're like, well, what happened? Like, why is there a good not saying it was every single location, because we went to some that weren't disgusting, you know.
But I think they closed a lot of the Ponderosas. Like, I don't even know. I want to do research because I don't even know if that one's there in Florida where we went to, because they had a really good gift shop to get. That's where we got a lot of our souvenirs. But yeah. I could have sworn, because I know they closed the one where we live, I thought they were shutting down locations. Whether they closed the whole chain of them, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. The chain has not closed, because I feel like Mike said that there was somewhere in Ohio that there still was a Ponderosa.
I just thought of another place.
Where? That
place where you can get the smiley cookies.
Was it Eaton Park?
Yes.
They always
still exist. Oh my gosh, we should like GPS one and try to find one if there's one anywhere out here, because oh my gosh, they had these, you know, you get your meal there, and then you get the smiley face cookies. That like brings back my childhood right there.
So
who remembers Eaton Park?
On PBS Kids,
yes.
For Arthur, our different shows, they would do that, the music, like they did like a jingle for the restaurant, and as they did the jingle to the rhythm, they would do the dot, I think the nose, and then a smiley face. Dun, 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 dun. It was something like, It was like Eaton Park, except like...
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is brought to you on WQED by the employees of Eaton Park.
Eaton Park, the place for smiles.
But I want to say when we went to Niagara Falls, there was an Eaton Park and we got the smiley face cookies. I don't know about the second trip to Niagara Falls, but I remember I think the first trip there was those cookies. Yeah. So then what about Cracker Barrel? I have like good and bad memories of Cracker Barrel growing up.
What do I remember about Cracker Barrel?
Cracker Barrel. Days Inn. We're passing when Days Inn was one of those hotels with the with the suns. Sorry.
There you go. I'm trying to think about Cracker Barrel because I don't know what I would actually order from there, but I know it was very kind of like a rustic wood interior when you go in with booths.
They still have them.
And I feel like there was things with was that the thing with the churning butter barrels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing with that is
what's this area?
Cadillac. It's a city of Cadillac. I know, Katie, that...
Oh, look at all the boats and campers. Hotel by the lake. Wow, look at all those RVs.
I believe... I always know, Katie, your family talks about Cadillac. So, yeah, we're passing through Cadillac right now, coming back home. So, Cracker Barrel... How do you explain it? Inside, it's very big and large from what I remember as a kid. And when babies would cry and kids would scream, it would just echo. So that's what I hated. It was like the table you hear, or like the kids are running around and the parents, you did not do it. I do remember they burnt my pancakes the one time. I feel like that was one of the last times we went there. My pancakes, they burnt them and I got ticked off.
We haven't been there in years, and then when we drove places, I was like, oh, Cracker Barrel, that's still around, because I don't,
right. I do know they have breakfast foods and stuff. They had a gift shop. In the gift shop, you were able to buy those wax bottles that you would bite the top off and get the juice, the candy dots on the paper.
That's where those from.
There's those. As my phone likes to jerk around. Well. I'm trying to think what else is Cracker Barrel, but there was that. Yeah, another memory is we would start driving super, super late in the day, and I know Katie's gonna cringe to this. I know Joke remember us leaving around noon when we went to Disney World in 2002. So, no joke, we left at noon to drive to Florida. Why would you start driving at noon when you know? I don't know. See, my dad was the driver. When we would go on vacation too, my dad was the only one who drove.
I think it was a combination of with families, not everyone's ready at the same time, and then especially when you're going far away, you kind of get that, at least I do, that paranoia of okay, do we have everything? Is the door locked? Because you're going to be gone for a while, so it just takes longer. And I know we weren't used to waking up at the crack of dawn to drive somewhere, but I have, when I drove to New York City, woke up, left at 5, 6 a.m., so I've done it before. But when we were younger, even when we drove to Niagara Falls and stuff, we didn't leave super, super early. But I know some people do.
But the other thing also has to deal with the driver. My dad was the driver, so we left super late. That a lot of it, you could say, was on him. But we started driving at freaking noon. And so when we drove on vacations, if it was a place that wasn't Indiana, was Florida, we actually had to stay. It was 2 or 3 nights. We never did that where we drove all the way through. So we were those people at night driving still when it's dark out.
Hunting for a hotel,
yes.
It was late.
So, yeah, we had to do that. So, yeah, it was really, really dark out. And so we would drive to one place. My dad's like, this is too expensive, or they don't have rooms. So then you have to go to the next one. Yeah.
We to Hershey Park a lot in Pennsylvania, which I only have so many memories of that because I was pretty young. But it was, I think I bought like a Hershey Kiss stuffed animal guy from it, and it was a cool park to go to. That it's still around, right? Like it still exists.
Yeah.
I would like to go to it again because that way maybe memories would come back, and I just look at pictures to remember it. But we also went to like a storybook forest. Was that in Pennsylvania too?
Yeah, Storybook Forest is in Pennsylvania.
And that
Idlewild amusement park in Pennsylvania, and there was a section in there called Storybook Forest.
is that where we took that train with the Mr. Rogers neighborhood tour?
Yes, and now they got rid of the Mr. Rogers neighborhood
That's right.
and turned it into whatever, some stupid tiger crap.
Oh yeah.
It's like a kids show on PBS that
Who
had
knows
to
what
deal
the
with.
kid shows are these days? That's the kid shows that were on like in the early 2000s and mid 2000s were the best.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think when you look up on YouTube, when you type in Idlewild and like Mr. Rogers, right? Like
can
look
watch
at the
it.
old one, and then when you look at the new one, you can tell they put in the new characters. But I think it's kind of like
the same
setup.
It's the same
It's
setting.
exactly a
So like for example, there was a part in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood where this blue owl came out of the tree and was talking to you. And so there was a section where they had it for this Tiger and Friends or whatever the heck it was called. He had a name, but they would have a character also coming out of the tree. So they kept it like to be.
Do you think they just changed it to update it, or
yeah, they updated it, but
like, I think it's probably, I mean, they can still keep older things, but maybe it's because like kids go on it now and they don't
know who Mr. Rogers is
yeah, I
anymore.
can't watch it. I'm trying to think of another story.
Well, what about the time when we were inside unpacking and you were out in the parking lot with him, like unpacking? We hear, hey, all this laughing. Then all of a sudden we hear dead silence and we just hear, you're crying because basically you're running around outside in the parking lot at night in a hotel and your feet skidded across the gravel and you wiped out.
I don't remember much about that though.
Oh, and then we used to have those old suitcases that would open up, and we would leave them in the middle of the hotel room floor, and one of us tripped over one time and fell on it, and we cut ourselves. It was this red suitcase. It was like in the middle of the floor. Okay, so in hotels, a lot of times they'll have those safes. Well, years ago, it was more the key safes. Now I know they have the codes on them.
Yeah.
Well, Julia had the key for the safe, and in the safe we had like, I want to say maybe like that CD player. There was a lot like electronics or different stuff in there, money. So it was locked, and Julia had the key, and she was like putting it like through the little
I was like
ledge.
like taking like it was the hotel key, right? That you swipe.
Or maybe it was the hotel. I thought it was actually the key to the safe. It was either the key to the safe or
I don't
the
know,
hotel
something,
room
but
key.
I was like, oh, I was swiping it in like the crack of the safe. I don't know why. Oh, because I was pretending it was a credit card, and I was like, ooh, swipe, and then it like obviously the card went in and slid back in there, and we couldn't get it out. And then my dad was taking like other library cards and other cards he had out of his wallet to try to like.
And he snapped. I think he lost one on the
Scoop it
side,
out.
or one of them snapped trying to get either the key safe or the room key out of the little slot. And then I know at the Florida, a lot of these stories might have been from Florida, but I know definitely in Florida, you were holding the room key and you almost dropped it down the elevator shaft, and it landed right on the middle where it would be the little lip, like the gap was right there, and it went right on top of it.
And I was like, I'm not in charge of holding anything now anymore.
We stayed at the Best Western in Kissimmee when we went to Florida, and that was a good one because there was a nice pool, there was McDonald's, Subways in walking distance.
I forgot it was Best Western.
Yeah, and there was an awesome gift shop attached to our hotel inside. We had this thing where at night we would be hungry because sometimes we didn't like the food at the Disney parks when we were little. So we would go to Subway sometimes. and Subway was still open, like, because, like, for example, at the time it was called MGM Studios. They closed early, so we were still hungry and Subway was still open. So that's when we started, the very first time we ever started eating Subway. We would get it when they had the round buns. We would get with turkey and mayonnaise. And it was so good. That's when we started eating Subway.
Oh, wait, they don't do that anymore.
I don't think they have the round buns. It's just the long ones.
I remember that.
And then me and my dad would walk to McDonald's. We would get McFlurries. We would bring those back
I
to
would
the
go
room.
too.
When we were on Maid of the Mist, when we were on the Canadian side for Niagara Falls, a bird crapped on my mom's poncho.
Wearing those blue ponchos, I liked going on that. Yeah, that was a mess. And then also in Canada, last time we went, what year was that? 08? 2008 maybe?
It might have been before that.
No, we went in 2004 and 2008 because it was a 4-year difference. In 2008, like everything was hiked up even more in prices. Who knows what it is now? Like everything. But it was so expensive to eat like at a Denny's. All the other restaurants were expensive. We went to a Denny's and I remember it was super expensive to get certain things. I think my dad ordered like a kid's portion of a salad.
That was at Perkins.
Oh, it was Perkins.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember specifically we couldn't get over the price of
Just one
the
thing.
stuff. So my dad was purposely buying, like he bought the kids salad
Yeah.
and that different stuff. And then we were kind of mad because our hotel room, like we couldn't warm any food up. So then we had this leftover food, we're bringing this cold stuff back to the room. I can kind of remember like the different stuff we were eating and we were crabby about that.
Oh, someone stole our camera in Canada.
Yeah,
We ate at a Golden Corral, and
it was by this big Ferris wheel.
yeah, and it was a digital camera. We took all these pictures.
We went to Jellystone in Canada, and we actually got pictures with Yogi or Boo Boo. I want to say it was Yogi.
I don't know all the other pictures that were on it, but then my dad like had it when he went in like the men's restroom, and then I guess he hung it up on one of
He
those
took
hooks
it
and
off his
forgot
belt,
it.
and he left it on there. And when he went to the table,
We're like, where
where's
is
the
it? And then
camera?
of course he blamed me that I distracted him, which is always the reason from day one. But he went back in, and it wasn't there, so some asshole took it.
and it wasn't even long. Because I remember, yeah, it wasn't, I don't think it was even 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And it was terrible because it was, I want to say the first time we went to Niagara Falls,
It was
too.
in 2004.
Because the freaky thing was,
4 years later, when we went back to
back.
visit, the restaurant was gone.
either the restaurant or the Ferris wheel. There was something that all of a sudden it disappeared.
The Golden Corral wasn't there anymore.
So it was that, okay. Because it was attached to a hotel. So we even called we talked to the hotel or that, and we said, well, if you find it, please call us. And I remember when we got home, that's when, the answering machines that were used with the tapes, not the digital ones, we had all these messages that we listened to, and when we heard the hotel, we got all like hyped up and excited, thinking, oh, is this gonna be them telling us about our camera? And it was just them confirming that we talked with them, and if they see anything, let us know. But we were so disappointed. And that was a Christmas present. That was the very first digital camera we ever had, because when we went to Disney in 2002, it was a regular film camera. You know, when you take it with film and you can't see the pictures you took. So that's the thing, growing up, we couldn't see that type of stuff. So sometimes you have to take the same picture a couple times, or you took the picture once and it turned out bad.
I hope it came on and it did.
Right.
But that's, yeah. And
Our
then,
first digital camera got as a Christmas present, and then the first trip we take it on, it gets stolen. Because we even went to the locks. It's stuff with shipyards and stuff. It's called the locks, where they lower and raise almost like elevators with the water level to move the ships and boats. We even took pictures of that when we were up there, and it was all lost. And we were, like I said, we were at Jellystone up there. That got lost. Oh man, So yeah, we never did that again. We always made sure we knew where our stuff was at. Okay everyone, that is our video for today. We just want to talk about some funny stories and memories from vacation, when we went on family vacations when we were little, since we're driving home from vacation. So how about in the comments, tell us if there's any vacation stories you remember growing up, any funny stories or different things. Comment that below. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. We are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're also on TikTok. And a lot of times the stuff we post on TikTok, we will not post it anywhere else. So make sure you look us up on TikTok. It's the same everywhere, Chatverse Studio. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye!